I'm Abigail.
Standing in the grand hall of the Grand Manhattan Hotel, I look out at the crowd before me. The annual financial summit is in full swing, but all eyes are on me as I step up to the podium. Behind me, the massive LED screen blazes with the words, "The truth about Sterling Capital. What the market needs to know." It's been a long journey to get here. Let me take you back to the beginning. I come from a family with a strong business background. My father was a shrewd businessman, and my mother was a kind-hearted woman who always emphasized integrity. Growing up, I was taught the value of hard work and honesty. I met Ethan when I was in my early 20s. He was charming, ambitious, and we fell in love quickly. We co-founded Sterling Capital, a company that soon became a powerhouse in the market. With my background in cybersecurity from working at a top-tier tech firm focused on financial security, was an essential part of the company's success. But as the years went by, I started to notice changes in Ethan. There were little things at first, like late nights at the office and secretive phone calls. My instincts told me something was wrong, so I quietly built a surveillance system within the company. One ordinary afternoon, I was sitting on the balcony of a small cafe, sipping an espresso. The city below was bustling, but my world was about to be turned upside down. My phone vibrated, and the screen showed Ethan's name. A sense of unease washed over me as I answered the call. "Abigail," he said, his voice sounding strange. "I'm calling to tell you something. I want a divorce. I've sold the company, and I'm leaving with Stella to start over." Stella was the woman he thought I didn't know about, his mistress. I took a deep breath and calmly said, "Congratulations." He was clearly taken aback. "Congratulations?" he repeated. He laughed smugly, thinking I was clueless. "You realize you have nothing left. The company is sold, and I own the majority of the assets." I replied steadily, "Is that what you think?" I hung up before he could react. As I left the cafe, my phone buzzed with a message from my lawyer. "It's done. He can't sell what he no longer owns." I drove home, knowing Ethan would be sitting in his favorite chair, thinking he had won. When I walked in, he was there, with Stella by the window. He smirked and said, "Abigail, you're finally home. I assume you've had time to think things over." I placed my briefcase on the table and pulled out a thick stack of documents. "The truth," I said. "You should read this before you continue your act." As he flipped through the papers, his face turned pale. I explained, "According to the shareholder agreement we signed 5 years ago, no sale or transfer of shares can occur without the approval of all primary stakeholders. While you were busy with Stella, I quietly acquired the remaining shares. I now control over 60% of the company." Ethan was in shock. "That's impossible," he muttered. I then revealed his financial fraud. "Do you remember the $1,200,000 that disappeared from the company's internal investment fund? And those contracts with a shell consulting firm in Hong Kong? I have evidence of all your suspicious transactions over the past 3 years. I've already sent it to the SEC and IRS." Stella panicked and realized she had been lied to. She grabbed her purse and ran out. Ethan was left standing there, a mix of rage and despair on his face. I told him, "Tomorrow, the board will hold an emergency meeting, and you're out of the company." Back in my office, I monitored Ethan's last-ditch efforts to move the remaining funds overseas. I activated the security override I had built over the years, blocking his transactions. My phone rang. It was my lawyer. "The SEC and IRS have received all the documents and are launching an investigation," he said. Across the city, Ethan was in a panic. His accounts were frozen, and his business partners were withdrawing their investments. Stella was also trying to save herself. She called me, desperate for protection in exchange for information about Ethan. I told her to send everything and not to run. The news of Sterling Capital's downfall spread like wildfire. The company's stock plummeted, and investors pulled out. Ethan's name was everywhere in the financial news, but this time it was associated with a major scandal. At the boardroom of Sterling Capital, I addressed the shareholders. I showed them the evidence of Ethan's illegal transactions and announced that I had taken full control. I removed the board members who had sided with Ethan and presented a plan to restructure the company into Nova Tech Group. The shareholders were skeptical at first, but I was confident. "I'm not certain. I'm sure," I told them. One by one, they nodded, and Nova Tech Group was born. Now, sitting in my new office at Nova Tech Group, overlooking the Manhattan skyline, I receive a message from the FBI agent. Ethan was arrested at a private airport in Miami, trying to flee to South America with a fake passport. Another message from an unknown number came in. I knew it was Stella, but I let it fade. Nova Tech Group is soaring. Since the restructuring, we've attracted massive investments, and our valuation has increased by 150% in just 3 months. The media is calling me the woman behind the new tech revolution. Ethan thought he could betray me and take everything, but he forgot that the truth always surfaces. Justice isn't just about destroying the betrayer. It's about rebuilding something stronger from the ashes. The best revenge is success.